Good morning everyone and welcome back to our next tutorial. So let's get started with our datasets. So as you can see on this screen, in this dataset basically we have around more than 430,000 rows and 13 columns. This dataset basically includes all the transactions from different stores. So this dataset is not only limited to one store, but it contains the transactional details from multiple stores. So let's go and learn about individual columns of this dataset. So the first column is a date. So date is that date which basically logs when customer has made that transaction. So we can see that this particular transaction happened on 18th of July 2016. Then the second column is basically store operation type, whether sales or a return. So if we see sale, it means customer has bought that item. But if we see operation type is equal to return, which means that customer has returned that item. The third column is a cashier name. It basically means who was the cashier at that time who made this transaction. The next column is a line item. So basically it will tell me what is the item that bought by the customer. So we can see that in this line item is fountain drink. We can see in this line item the customer has bought beef and broccoli. The next column basically is a department. So department, it will tell me that this particular line item belongs to which department. Similarly, the column map is a category. So category again tell me another level of hierarchy for individual line item. So you can understand column D, E, F in certain way that on top of the hierarchy we have department, let's say beverage. Then underneath the beverage, what is the category? And then underneath the category we have a line item. So basically there are three hierarchy or three levels. First, the top level is department, then we will drill down into category and then into line item. Then the registered name. So registered name is the device which is used by the cashier. So what was the registered number or a device number using by the cashier when he helped the customer in making that transaction. Then store number. So this particular transaction happened in which store. So as I said that this data set is not limiting to one store, but it contains a transaction from multiple store. So it will tell me that this particular transactions have happened in which particular store number. Then so whenever customer make any kind of a transaction, a unique transaction number will be generated. Similarly, a customer code will be generated for individual customer. And then price, what was the price for that particular line item. Quantity, how many items bought by that customer. So we can see, for example, let me pick this particular one. So we can see that for this transaction customer has bought 2 fountain drink because it's saying the quantity is 2 and the price for individual quantity was $2.88. And the final column, which is total due, will basically tell me price into quantity. So we can see that a customer has bought 2 fountain drink and each of that price is $2.88. So in total it becomes 2.88 into 2, which is $5.76. So that is the amount needs to be paid by the customer. So this is the quick preview about the data set which So now let's connect our data to Tableau now. So in the previous video you have seen that our data is in the CSV format. So for that we will click on the text file. So when we click on the text file, it basically asks you to upload your data, the CSV data what we have. So our CSV data is this one. So when I click on this open, then you will see here the name of the file, which is itis.csv. Then on the bottom you can see a list of the columns what's the CSV file have. As well as we can see the preview of the data as well. So on the right, if you see, we can see the preview of the data by clicking update now. So right now it's showing 100 rows because we are setting up the 100 by default. So it's showing the preview of the 100 rows, but obviously you can increase or decrease if you want to see more rows and so on. Dashboards. Now let's click on the sheet number 1. So by default you will see sheet 1, which is already been created, a blank sheet you can say. So when I click on the sheet 1, so you can see the canvas has opened. Now let's go into some of the features of this canvas. What are the options are there? What are the different functionalities are there? So let's start first with this particular area. So the good part about the Tableau that whenever you upload or you connect your data with the Tableau, automatically Tableau will divide the columns into two parts or classify the column into two parts. The first part is called dimensions and the second part is called measures. So dimensions are these ones. So dimensions are any categorical columns or date column or string values. Tableau basically classified them into dimensions, while measures are numerical columns where we need to perform some kind of aggregation like price or quantity to find the sum of price or to find the profit or to find the total number of quantity have been sold. So Tableau automatically classified them into measures. However, there can be situation where Tableau can misclassify a column. For example, if a customer account number is, let's say, 12346, Tableau might think since it has a numerical numbers, it might put under measures. But ideally, account number comes under more into dimensions because we are not doing any kind of aggregations on account number. So in such cases, what you can do, you can manually move into dimensions. For example, let's hypothetically assume that price supposed to be like a categorical field and it should be a part of the dimension. But since this column has some numerical values, so Tableau has put it into the measure. So the way we can move this column into dimension is right click this column and then convert to dimension. When you convert into dimension, it has moved into the dimensions. And now if you want to convert the data type of this column as, let's say, string, or convert data type into string or date or time or boolean or whatever, you can select that option. Let's say I want to convert this into a string. I can click on string and you can see that this column has converted into a string. The way we will come to know whether this column is a string or a numerical column, we can see on the left side. These are small icons which is saying ABC. It means it's a string column. When you see this kind of an icon, which typically means it's a date column, and when you see this pound sign, it basically means it's like a numerical column. So this is how you can also understand how Tableau treating them each of the columns. And if you feel that this price column, Tableau has by default take it as a string, but it's supposed to be like a numerical column, then as I said, right click here, go to change data type and then select, let's say, number, decimal. But I think since this price column is supposed to be a measure, so I'm moving back into the measures tab now. So right click, convert into measures. Now the price has moved back into the measure column. Now let's go on to the right side of this panel here, which is show me. So when you click on the show me, you can see the list of all the graphs which we can use to plot. Then the other side, then the next part is columns and rows. So columns and the rows, where you will drag your columns into columns and rows so that you can create some kind of a chart. So for example, let's say I want to do some kind of analysis for department. I'm putting under row. So we can see that Tableau is automatically telling me what are the unique values under department, and then let's say how many total number of quantities are there in each of the department. So for that, I just drag and put it in the column. And by default, Tableau has created this as a bar chart, which it feels that that's a best way it can represent this on information. But if you feel that, hey, I don't want to create a bar chart, I want to create some other form of aggregation, I can, let's say, put it into more tabular form. Then I can select it here and it will show me in a more tabular form or a more Excel format. The first column would be the department and then the total quantity of sales. The another good part is that we can also set up some filters as well. So I can say that, hey, I want to see this number only for some particular set of value. For example, let's say we have this operation type. So let me put it on the operation type as one of the filter. I am taking all the values of this column operation type, which is return and sale, and click OK. And then right click this one, show filter. Now when I click show filter here, it will show me the options here. Now I can see the dynamic changes based on this filter. So if I select sale, now it only showing me the numbers for the sale. But if I select return, then it will going to show me the numbers for only for the return. So in this way also we can use the filter. The next part of this canvas is the marks. So mark is we have like some different options like color, size, text, tooltip. So we can use these features to customize our graph or chart. We can change the color, we can change the size of the chart, we can add tooltip, text, and so on. So one of the business goal or you can say one of the first goal is to understand total sales across each department. And this is the analysis we can show through our bar chart. So let's go into the Tableau and create our first chart. So in order to find the total sales, we can use quantity. So quantity basically will tell me about the total sales. Now in order to create a bar chart, what we can do is to pull the department and pull it on the rows, and then pull the quantity and then drop it, and then pull the quantity and drop it in the columns. So we can see that the Tableau, based on the selection of the columns, it has automatically created a chart. So as I showed in the previous video, if you don't want to create a bar chart by default and you want to create some other graph, you can select any of the option. But since this video is basically for the bar chart, by default it has created a bar chart. So you can see that since it has already created a bar chart, it also has selected this one on the red rectangular box. So this means that the Tableau has created this chart. So congratulations, we have created our first chart. But as you can see that this chart doesn't look like a finishing product. It doesn't look like a chart where we can share with users and they can use it for their analysis. So we need to clean up, we need to do some formatting. So in this video I will show you some basic formatting. Like for example, we can fix few things for this video, that for any kind of textual headings or titles, we can fix like a font size of, let's say, 10 or 12, and font style would be, let's say, Times New Roman. So let's say here I'm giving the title of this graph would be, let's say, sales count for each department. And as we discussed, we can give it a Times New Roman. And then the size would be, let's say, 10. So here we have given a size 10. I think let's make a title as 12. It looks little smaller. So we can Control A and 12 and then. So sales count has been set. Similarly, in order to change the formats or the coloring of this text, right click and you will see option format. Here we can change the text. So here I can again set Times New Roman, and then I can set it as a 10 as we discussed, and then I'm making the color as a 12. Oh sorry, black color. And since it's not displaying the values of each of the bar chart, what we can do, we can directly click on top of it, which is here T. So when I click on T, now it will start showing me the numbers as well. Now this particular axis for me, according to me, looks like a very redundant. So probably I can remove this one. In order to remove, right click the axis and then click on show header, and now it's gone. Now on the marks, I can change the size of this chart as well. So maybe I can increase a little bit. So maybe so this could be a good one, and then I can extend this chart to like little bit. So I can extend this chart so that it looks little bit bigger. So that's, I think, good. Now another thing what we can do is to change the color of this graph. So color is very important. We should not take any random color, because colors typically say something, they have some meaning as well. So instead of showing every department with a different color, what I'm saying is that right click this, let me close this one. What I'm saying is that the color of this chart will be based on the value of the sales. For example, let's say I have a quantity here, right? So I'm dragging the quantity and put it in the color. So darker is the color, means higher is the volume. Lighter is the blue color, then lower is the volume. So I can change other color option as well. So here by default it's coming to be automatic as a blue color, but you can change to a different colors as well. You can also change to a different step colors. So here there is a 5 shade of colors you can get. I am taking at, let's say, 3 only. So it's basically telling whenever we have a very high volume, then we will see a dark color. When the volume is very low, then you will see a light shade of blue. So it means the color is also speaking something about the volume of the sales as well. And the final thing what we can do, so this bar, all the bars look very random. A good idea would be either we can sorted them in ascending order or in a descending order. So let's say I have decided to show this graph based on a descending order of sales. So what I will do, I will click on this arrow department because I want to sort the department. So click on the sort, and then it's asking sort by which option. So we have decided to sort by field, descending order, and I'm taking quantity sum. So as you can see that now the chart has been automatically sorted based on the descending order of sales. And one of the business goal is to understand total amount due across each category. And we have decided to use the pie chart because pie chart can tell us how much is the amount due in each of the category, or how much is the proportion of total due across different category. So let's go into the Tableau and let's learn how to create a pie chart. So in order to create a pie chart, we need to click a new sheet. So we will add a new sheet by clicking this icon. So now this new worksheet has opened. So here we will going to create our pie chart. Now as we decided to show the total amount due, so what we'll do, we will drag and put it in the rows column, and then since we are showing the category here, we will show in the columns. Now by default, as I told you that based on the selection of columns, by default it's showing a bar chart, but since we are more interested in showing the pie chart, so let's select the pie chart, and now we can see the pie chart, and each color is representing a category. So we can see that every color is every category is represented by a different color. So right now it's looking very small, so maybe we can increase the size of a pie chart. So this looks okay to me, and it has created like a proportion based on the total due. So now let's display the values as well, because right now it's not displaying any value. So the way we can display the value, just pick the total due and drop it on top of label. Now we can see the values here. Now you might be wondering, it looks very congested, but don't worry. When we put all these sheets in our Tableau dashboard, so this will look much better over there. So right now it's showing the absolute numbers, but we want to show the percentage, how much is the percentage distribution of total due across each category. So the way we can do is to right click this one. You need to click on this down arrow on this T means label or the text or the values which we are displaying, this T. Click on the down arrow. Then if you go towards the end, which is showing quick table calculation, and then we can select percent of total, because we want to know the percentage distribution of total due. Now here I can see that the total due is 26.3% for general category, whereas 12.25% total due across chicken category, and similarly 9.42% of total due is coming in beef and apple burgers. But these are showing the percentage value. But if you are interested to add more information, like I want to know the absolute total due value as well, so you can just select and drop it on top of label. Now you have both the information. So you have the amount total due as well as the percentage. So now we can provide the title of this sheet. So we can give this sheet name as total due total due across each category, or I can say that total due distribution across each category, because in pie chart we basically show proportions or distribution across each category. And as we decided, we will select the Times New Roman for this course, and for title let's go with 12. Let's go with 12 and Times New Roman, and then OK. So we have set the title for this sheet. Now the next thing is we can do little bit of formatting like this font. So just right click and click on format, and now it's asking where do we need to update the font. So here we will select the pane, because this is called pane, and then we will select the font size as 10, and then we can select the Times New Roman, and then I'm going with the black color. So in that way our pie chart is ready. One of the business goals is to understand the register profile as well. So let me give you the definition of a register here. A register is the person or a cashier or a front desk person who uses the machine to help you in purchasing the item. So in this register profile table, which we are planning to create in Tableau, we will show 4 columns. So first would be the register ID, then the total number of sales have happened, or the total quantity of items have been sold from that particular register, how much is the total amount due from each register, and also we will show the total unique count of transaction or a distinct count of transaction. So let's go into the Tableau and create the table. So in the last video, as we know that we have created the pie chart. So in order to create a next graph, we will click as always a new worksheet. So when we click on the new worksheet, a brand new canvas will get open, and now we can create our table. So in order to create the table, as we have already defined that we are planning to show 4 columns, so let's track all the 4 columns on the rows. So let's say the first column I am pulling is register name. Then I will show the total quantity of item we have sold on each register ID. And don't worry, like when you drag, by default Tableau will try to create some kind of a visual, but you can convert into discrete. So once you convert into discrete, you will see the absolute numbers. Then third column which we are showing is the total due. So same thing, we will see by default it will create a some graph, so we can convert into discrete to see the absolute numbers. And the fourth column what we are planning to showcase is a total unique count of transactions have happened, unique count. So let me drag it here and click OK. And right now here it's showing all the transaction numbers have happened on each of the register, but we are more focused only on the unique count of transactions. So what we will do, we will click on this down arrow on the transaction number, then go to the measure, and then select the field count of distinct. So once you select the count of distinct, then you will see like a graph here, but we can convert into discrete to see the absolute numbers. Now we can see that in each of the register what are my unique count of transaction IDs. So the table has been created, but as you can see that again this table doesn't look like to be in a very good format. So let's customize some of the things of this table. So first let's give a title of this table. So we can give a register profile details. So register profile details. So as we have already defined that the font type we are selecting Times New Roman, and then size I'm taking maybe let's say 14. The another thing what we can do with the title, which I didn't show in the previous videos, we can also customize or format the title. So that let's say I need, instead of having this white background behind the title, I want some different color. So let's say I'm pulling this color, which is purple, I guess. So now the background have changed into a purple, but again the black is not visible, so we can change its color by clicking on, let's say, edit title, and then select and then change the color to, let's say, white, so that it gets visible. And here we can see the title name. Now the next thing what we can do right now, the font colors looks like very grayish. So let's convert each of the columns into black. So right click the column which you want to convert, and then we will select format. Once you select the format, then click on here, select Times New Roman, the one which we have decided, and then we can increase the size to 10 and the color would be black. And similarly I can do with other columns as well. So Times New Roman, then I'm selecting color black and the size would be 10. And same with the last column, right click, format, and then you will get Times New Roman. So I'm done with the customizing the colors. So the another thing what we want to change is a total due. It's showing the numbers or the decimal places to be like large, like almost like 9 to 10 decimal places. Let's clean up this column as well. So the way we can do is again right click on that column, click on format, then you need to go into the numbers. Let's showcase this number in terms of dollars because this is a total amount due. So what we can do, currency custom, I'm taking the decimal as 2. On the display units, we can see whether we want to show the number in thousands, millions or billions, because the numbers are not that big. So I am taking it thousands. So now it's showing me like, $37.07 thousand, 33.0, which looks much more reasonable to see. The another thing what we want to do is to increase the size of this column, because right now the name of this column is not visible, so we can just drag it to the right and now we can see the name of the column. The another thing what we can do, some people probably would not like the lines or the row divider, maybe they want in some different format. So what we can do, again right click anywhere on this table, click on it here and select this icon. Once you select the icon, it will show you whether you want row divider, column divider, and default options and so on. Let's say I want to change my row divider and I want to go with this particular one, and then I can say that this would be my size. This looks a little big, so let's go with this one. And probably I'm going in some I don't know, maybe let's put it black color, much more safer color. Although it looks very dark, maybe let's put it a lighter one. Now the row divider has changed. The another thing what we can do is, we are right now seeing this column ABC, which looks a little weird. So what we can do, we can remove this one. So there is not a very straightforward way to remove it, but we can use some workaround to remove this column. So right click this column, go to the format, and then go inside this pane, and then select the color as white. So now this particular guy has been literally invisible now. So now I can drag this column. So once we put it in our dashboard, then you will not see this kind of a thing. We want to understand that how many total unique transactions have happened across each category in each department. So what I was saying, that department, if I pull the department is at the highest level, where we have this 8 or 9 departments. Then under each department we have categories. So if I pull the categories, we can see that for each of the department what are the different categories we have, and the question what we are asking for this department and category, how many unique count of transaction IDs we have, or the transaction numbers. So let me drag it here and I can show you. Click on add all numbers. It will take few seconds. So right now it's showing me for each department, each category, what are the unique set of transaction numbers we have. So what we can do, since we need to see the count of distinct transaction ID, we can go to the measure and then select count of distinct. And right now let's connect it to discrete. Now for each department and category, it's showing me the unique count of transaction ID. But here we are planning to showcase this information using a stacked bar chart. So the way we can create a stacked bar chart is first department, since department is the highest level of hierarchy. Let me remove the category here and let's say put on department on the top, and then convert into continuous so that we can see a graph. Now I am seeing the department, and for each department what is the total count of transactions. but we need to add another layer which is category. For that we will pull the category column and drop it on detail, because we want a detail level information for category. And then when I put it, you can see that there is some breakdowns have happened now for each department. For the list is showing the list of the category and their unique count of transaction numbers. But right now it's not very clean, the colors are not visible. We want to showcase some numbers, so there are various ways we can show the numbers. So let's say I want to show this bar chart in terms of department color. So if I pull the department color in the colors, it's not looking really good. It looks a lot of color and colors are not saying anything here. And similarly, if I bring, let's say, category into color mark, again there are a lot of colors are there and it looks very confusing. So what I'm thinking that maybe what we can do is to drag this column into color. So in order to do that, hold the control button. Let me do it again. So hold the control button and then drag it into colors, and now you will see some sort of a color changes. So this based on the gradient or the intensity of the value. So higher the count, darker would be the color, lower is the count, lighter would be the color. If you want, you can change this color as well. If you click on the color, edit colors, you can change different options as well. Maybe I can use, I guess, red and green. If we have red and green something, yeah, so red and green diverging, and I'm taking as stepped colors 3. I'm taking only 3 colors. So if we have a very high count, then we will see a little darker green color. If we have a very low count, then we will see a dark red color, and everything will be in between. So click OK, and now you will see the, so since it's a very green color, so we can see that salmon category has the almost 63,000 unique transactions, whereas this guy is coming to be red, that is lamb chops, only have 16,000 unique transactions. Now final thing what we can do is to display the value on the chart. So simple way is to click on this T button. Once you click on the T button, you will see the value. Right now the value in black doesn't looks to be really visible. Maybe we can try with a different color. So if I click on this color and try selecting white looks to be little visible but still not very comfortable. But let's for the sake of this example, I am just putting as a black color. The other thing what we can do, since this label, this y-axis label looks to be very long, let's make it little shorter. The way we can do is to right click here, click on edit axis, and now we can make it little smaller, like distinct count of, I guess, transactions, distinct count transactions. And once it's done, you just click crosshair on the top and you will see a distinct count. You can also change the font size, font type as well by clicking format here. So when you click on the format, select the font what we have decided, Times New Roman, make it black, and then 10 size. Similarly, we can do it for here as well. Click, right click, format, and then we can change the color. And we can set up like 10 here. So in that way, we have created a stacked bar chart, which basically telling me that for each of the category, how many unique set of transactions we have. And we can see that the greenish ones are our chicken category, as well as salmon and wheat, where we got a lot of unique count of transactions. Now here we can give some name as well. Let's give it some name. Maybe let's put it department category transactions. Department category transactions, and then we can change to our Times New Roman, and maybe we can make it as 12 or 14. Let's put it as 12 for now. We can change it later as well. So this is done, and we can also create like a format title. Right click, format title. We can also change the shading as well, like probably we can do here, and then since the black color is not visible, right click here, edit title, and then we can select here, and maybe we can select the white color so that it gets visible. as we are going to learn how to design our first dashboard on Tableau. As we know that we typically use dashboard to combine our worksheets into one, so that we can showcase our business end users and stakeholder all the results what we have created. So without any delay, let's go to Tableau. Now so far we have created this 4 sheets: department sales, total due category, register profile, and department category transactions. Now what we want to do, we want to combine all the 4 analytics into one dashboard. For that we will go into this icon which says new dashboard. Click on that. Now this canvas will get open where we can create our dashboard. So let's go through one by one some of the options offered by this dashboard. So on the top, the really good thing which is showed is that you can select whether this dashboard will be for which kind of a monitor or your laptop or your PC configuration. You can also decide what kind of a landscape you want. You can also decide legal, PowerPoint, web page, laptop browser, and so on. So we can customize based on the device as well. But right now for this example, I'm going with the size 1000 into 800. But I can change it if I feel that the 1000 by 800 looks quite small for my analysis. I can increase it. Well, it's very straightforward. You can go and you can select here. Like for example, let's say I want, instead of 800 height, I want 900. Just give me a second. So let's say 900, and you can see the dashboard height has increased. So that's the one thing. Second, you will see the sheets. So whatever worksheet you have created, all the worksheet name will be shown here, so that you can drag and drop on this canvas. Thirdly, we have some of the objects option where you can create like a horizontal container, vertical. If you want to add some text in it in between your graphs, you want to add some images on this dashboard, you can add some web page link or navigation or a download. And then finally, in the last option, there is a option called show dashboard title. So let's give us some decent dashboard name. So here, dashboard 1 is a default name it's coming, but we can rename it to a more sensible name. So let's double click this one, and let's say we are giving some this dashboard name as let's say sales department profile. Sales department profile. I would say that whenever you give the name of this title, it should looks very relevant to your analysis what you're going to show on this dashboard. But for this video, just an example, I'm putting as sales department profile. That might not be a very appropriate name, the kind of analytics what we have created, but just for an example, I'm putting this name as a title. And then as our rule of thumb, we are putting Times New Roman, and I'm making it center aligned. And now here we have created a sales department profile. Again, another thing what you can do is to right click and format title. You can add some shading as well. If you're not liking like a white background, you can add some shade as well. Maybe let's say, for example, I'm adding this one. Maybe that's not looking good to me at least, but let's, for this example, I'm putting this shade. Now the next part will come up is to start adding each of the worksheet on this dashboard. So the way we can do is that this is my suggestion. Again, it's not a very like a very generic suggestion, but it's my recommendation is that whenever you add any worksheet, always pull either horizontal or vertical. Actually, both horizontal and vertical do the same job, but let's pull this horizontal container and put it here. Drop it on the canvas. You can see that there is a blue border is coming around. That is called a container, and you can add your worksheet inside this container. So I'm adding my first worksheet, which is department sales, and now here we have added the department sales. I don't want to show this because it's very understandable that darker the blue color, higher would be the volume. So I'm not showing this information on this dashboard. So that is the first worksheet we have added on this dashboard. Let's say now I want to add total due, which is our proportion pie chart thing. And I'm planning to put it side by side to this bar chart. So again, as a rule of thumb, I will be dragging this horizontal container and putting next to bar chart. Now I will add this second worksheet inside this one. Now here I'm not again adding this category because colors are not very useful in this chart, so I'm removing this particular one. And now here it's right now it's showing, you can see there is a lot of empty space are there in this container. Is because I have selected a standard view, but you can select fit width, fit height and entire view. Let's put it, I'm putting as an, let's say, entire view. So now our two worksheets have added on this dashboard. So now I am planning to add my third worksheet on the bottom of these two charts. So as a rule of thumb, I will be pulling or dragging this horizontal container and putting on the bottom. So here, so now I can see that this container will be lying below these two charts. Now I am adding my third one, which is a register profile. Let me add here. Now again the same thing, you will see that this looks like a lot of empty spaces are here because I have selected a standard, but again it's up to you. You can select entire view and this will look better. So once we add our fourth chart, it will look much better. Now the next step would be is to add our fourth sheet, which is a department category transactions. For that, again I am taking as horizontal container and putting this container, you can see on the screen, putting the container, the grayish border at the end, the next to register profile details, and now the fourth container has been added. Now inside this fourth container I am putting this sheet inside it, and now here we have added. So I'm also removing this one. I don't need this particular one. Yeah, delete. So now our fourth chart also have been created. So this chart looks little smaller, so what I'm doing is to move little bit here, and now this chart looks much better now. So I can see for beverage and what is my count and so on. So this is how we have created our first dashboard, and we have combined all the worksheets into one. Now this is a dashboard we can share with the business. We can create a story, we can explain our results, and this looks to be really good. One more thing I want to showcase on this dashboard, we can also add some filters as well. So for example, we have a, if I go into inside of this worksheet, let's say go to this sheet, and I have already added one filter, which is an operation type, whether it's a sales or a return. So let's add this filter on this dashboard, so that based on the selection of the filter, all the worksheets get updated. So let's select this worksheet, because the filter, that operation type, lies in this worksheet. Go to analysis, go to filters, and this is the filter name which we have, operation type. Now this has been added by default on the side of this chart. And if you feel that, hey, I don't want this filter to be placed on the side of the dashboard, I want something on the top of it. So the way, again, same thing, what you can do is to pull this horizontal, and you just need to pull this horizontal and drag it here. Now this horizontal blank container has been added. Now I just want to do is to drag and drop it inside the container. So now our filter has been added on the top, but we can do some different customization as well. For example, on this filter you see this arrow, down arrow. Click on this down arrow. We can also check, like, I want a filter to be look like, multiple values drop down, multiple values. Right now it has been selected at multiple values list, but I want something drop down filter which has a multiple value selection criteria. So once I select this, now you can see that this filter has changed. Now we have this multiple values drop down filter now. The second thing what we can do, you can see this length looks quite long. I don't want the filter length to be that much wider or longer. So what I can do, in order to make it shorter, reduce the length of this filter, another workaround we can do is to pull this blank container. So let's put the blank container here on the side of it, and now you can see the size of the filter has been reduced. Now the next part is that right now this filter criteria all selected only for this worksheet. So if I remove this one, I think this filter is working for all the 4 sheets, but let's say that I want this filter only work for this particular worksheet. I don't want the other 3 sheets results to get updated based on the selection of filter. So the way we can do, we can go here, apply to worksheets. Right now it's coming all using this data source, means all the worksheets will get updated based on the selection of filter. But if I want this results to be updated for this particular worksheet, I can use only this worksheet. So if I select it, you can see that this worksheet got blanked and other results are still intact. But if you want only the results to get updated for particular worksheet, then this is the option called selected worksheet. So if I selected the worksheet, it will ask which are the worksheet where you want this filter to work. So let's say department sale, which is this one, and the total due category, which is our pie chart one. Now you can see since I have not selected any of the filter, both has shown blank. But if I select this sale now, both the results will be visible. And similarly, if I want this filter to be get updated for all the worksheet, all using this data source. Now for sale, I can see what are my results. And similarly, if I want to see for all, it will show the all as well. And finally, we can maximize in a presentation mode here with this icon. If we click it, we can see this presentation as well, so that when we're presenting this dashboard to the user, that this is the way it will look like. And then you can create a story, you can give the walkthrough of the results, you can showcase the value what it has, what are the, you can correlate the different charts into one, and this is how you can present to the business.